How's it going? This is what I've been up to. So today, I just wanted to get everyone kind of up to speed on what's been going on. I know it's been a minute since I've made a video, so I figured why not go at it again today. So, more or less, life at the house. It's been quite busy, hence why I haven't come out with a whole lot of videos. I am kind of falling into a rut right now, which stinks, but it is what it is. Part of the thing with trying to stay occupied is you pick up quite a few new hobbies, or you just focus on a lot of different things that you've been up to or that are around the house that you can do. So for me, I personally have done a couple different things. One of those being a lawn renovation. So as you can see, I ended up moving 7 tons of dirt into my front yard and decided to try and grow some grass. The main purpose of this was there was a couple slumps that were causing issues with drainage along the side of the house, and along the front you can see that there was a dip in the turf, so I decided to fill that up and plant new grass on top. Other things I've been up to include amateur radio. I decided, since I'm getting ready for trips this year and I want to go to a lot of more remote locations, I decided why not get my amateur radio license. I'm currently a technician. Actually today I'm testing out on my general, but that's been one of the things that I've been preoccupied in my mind with. There's a lot of studying, a lot of hard, it's a bit dry, but actually it's kind of entertaining and intriguing to me, so I've enjoyed that quite a bit. I've currently got one handheld radio, and I've recently ordered mobile radio, so I'll be putting that in the rig soon here, and that'll be nice. And then that'll be going on new 67 Designs rack that I put in the center console there. Speaking of the 67 Designs, that's a new addition to my truck. That's something I decided to do to mount my cell phone, my Garmin satellite, and also for a secondary phone or for mobile and amateur radio. Once I get that in there, I'll have all 3 communication lines that I would like in my vehicle, front and center in the vehicle, which will be very nice. So can't wait to get that complete. Another thing I've been up to is planning trips. I've planned a trip out in Moab, Utah, and that's for a trip down into Moab. I cannot wait. That was supposed to happen back in March. Obviously it hasn't happened yet, but eventually here, maybe this summer, we'll get around to it once everything kind of clears up and a little bit more freedom is reestablished around the country and we're not all locked down. Another trip I planned was out in Rapid City in the Black Hills. I partnered with my little brother and we created a trip up the west side of the Black Hills, starting down in Edmonton, I believe is the name of the town. And it brings us all the way up into Montana, into Wyoming, and then back over to Spearfish, where we'll finish out at a brewery. And along the route, we got a whole bunch of peaks that we've picked out. We want to make it a 2 or 3 day excursion, so that should be pretty fun. But other than that, that's pretty much it for staying up to date. But something a little bit more serious, though, is I'm angry. I don't know how many of you guys feel the same way, but I do. I'm angry for a multitude of reasons, but the big thing is it's getting taken out on my family. I'm being quite short with my wife, and that's not fair. Same thing with my son. I'm just not giving the leeway that I should, and I need to back off and just remember that we're all in this together. I'm not the only one. I'm frustrated with society. There's just so much going on right now. There's 2 very polarized ends to this current event that's going on with people, and it just seems like a lack of common sense in a lot of different areas, which is a little frustrating. I wish there'd be a little bit more common sense put into place and a little bit more responsibility, inherent responsibility in people. I mean, we're all grown adults. I think we can make the proper decisions for ourselves. We don't need the government to do it for us. But in any circumstance, there's going to be both sides of the story where it is what it is now. I'm losing patience. I'm just getting tired of it. It's one of those things right now where it's just ongoing. There just seems to be no light at the end of the tunnel, which is frustrating, very frustrating. I don't know how much longer I can just go out for what I need and not for what I want. Being able to leave the house is great, but knowing that all these places are closed where you can do recreational activities and to just hang out and just get out is just frustrating. I want these places to open up. I mean, they can abide by social distancing and still be open, and that would be great, because that would give people things to do besides staying held up in their house all day doing nothing. But again, it comes down to that personal responsibility, and a lot of these places feel that if they open their doors, they're responsible for the people that go inside, and that can tend to be the case because those people will get sue happy and have lawsuits against them, which I understand. I mean, it's frustrating. Just be responsible human beings. If you decide to go out and do something and you get in contact with somebody that has it or anything of that nature, that's on you. That was your inherent risk going out and doing what you wanted to do. You can't blame anybody else for that besides yourself. And I know I'm not the only one. There are a multitude of people out there that are feeling the same way that I am. Losing their patience with everything going on, slightly angry, and I'm not saying you have to necessarily be angry in this aspect of taking it out on your family or being mad. I mean, I think I talked about it in one of my previous videos. Anger can be expressed in a multitude of ways. It doesn't have to be this violent action. It can be non-violent. It can be just verbal. It can be different emotions that are expressed through anger, and different behaviors that can be expressed through anger. So I know I'm not the only one. Some tips that I could say though is just voice it. Don't hold it in. It's one of those things that, like me, I feel like I needed to vent this out and get it out there just so I can feel a little bit more or a little bit easier on myself. So that was one thing I feel like should be definitely adhered to, is just voice it. Find that soundboard and let them hear what you have to say. Another thing is to remain social. You might have to abide by these social distancing rules that are going on right now. It doesn't mean that you have to be completely isolated from everybody. You can have a small circle. I have a small circle. It's my wife, my son, and then my parents, and then my wife's mother. And we get together quite a bit, and it seems to work out very well. And then as far as neighbors go, I have my neighbors over all the time. Me and my neighbor across the street, we're constantly talking to each other. We keep our social distance and we stay safe. We're not getting all up in each other's business, but it's just having that ability to have some sort of community involved and be involved with that is just nice to have. It keeps you connected, and that's always a good thing to have at this time. Another thing you need to do is focus on productivity, like I've been doing. I've decided to study for tests. I've decided to do a lawn renovation. I look around the house, look for any home renovations I can do, any small things like that. Don't let things pile up. Try and stay on top of them. That's keeping yourself busy is what's going to get this through quicker. The more you're preoccupied, the faster this is going to go. If you sit there and do nothing and you're stagnant, then this is just going to draw out longer and longer. And above all, practice patience. Again, I'm not perfect. I've been short with some of my family members. I've been falling into this rut where I'm starting to get lazy. I'm starting to waste a little bit more time doing nothing than doing something. And I need to be patient, especially with my yard renovation right now. It's grass growing time, so there's not a whole lot I can do. Just sit there and wait and watch for the grass to grow. But patience is above all gonna get you through this. Just know that there is an end. It is coming eventually. It might not be tomorrow, it might not be next week, but eventually this is all gonna subside and we can go back to a normal life. As for now, that's all I got for us today. As always, peace.